For the love of pets, I'm Lisa Oligas, and you're watching Newsmakers. In this edition, we take a deep dive into the services and needs of the Joplin Humane Society. We'll learn about upcoming fundraisers and events, volunteer opportunities, and care available for current and future pet owners. We begin our conversation with Shelter Services Manager Tiana Fisher and Chloe Hensley, the volunteer manager. Welcome to Newsmakers.
Thank you for having us. We're glad to be here.
Yes. So the Humane Society is dedicated to finding forever homes for unwanted, abandoned, and neglected dogs and cats in our area. Sometimes people love animals, still have to give them up for whatever reason. I want to talk about a newer program you have called Positive Connections. Tell us about that.
Positive Connections is a program designed to keep pets in their homes. So the whole idea behind the program is to do what we can as a humane society to help individuals keep their beloved pets with them. If they're needing vaccines, we can help with that. We have a lot of different options to help them, and it's really on a case-by-case basis on what we're able to do. But we've been able to actually help with some down payments for security deposits for pets. So we've been able to help a little bit with some of those things. There's been times where people just really need a crate because their puppy is, doing puppy stuff. And they can't afford that in addition to the vaccines and stuff. So we've been able to give them a crate, and it keeps that puppy in that home where he really belongs.
What are some of the other costs that might be incurred when you have an animal? I mean, how costly can it get to support an animal that some people might not realize when they first, I'd love to have a pet?
There's a lot of costs that go into being a pet owner. Everything from just food, which is a big one, leashes, collars, those are all very important. But you also add into that, you need annual vaccinations and the spaying and neutering. And just that stuff can really add up. And if you don't have a lot of extra funds, it can definitely eat into your decision making. So you might have to decide if you want to feed the kids or spay the puppy. And, we're just here to help so those decisions aren't as burdensome.
Exactly. Have you seen the connections make a difference at this point? People saying, hey, I was able to keep my pet?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've even been able to work out in the community and offer free vaccination clinics. We've partnered twice now with the Salvation Army and gone and set up in their parking lot. And we've been able to provide over 600 free vaccines just this year alone to dog and cat owners. So
that's awesome.
It's been a really good program. It's just in its infancy, so we're still
spread the word.
Spread the word.
Yeah.
Of course, but also if it's something that plays on your heart and you know how important it is to keep pets in homes and you want to contribute to the funds or donate dog food or cat food to the food pantry, we really could use the support that way. It's a win-win for everybody. You feel good, plus we're keeping these pets in their homes and out of the shelter. And
and that's exactly, how does it benefit the shelter to help others keeping their dogs and the cats in the home so they don't have to surrender them to the Humane Society?
Yeah, so keeping them out of the shelter is going to keep them healthy and happy and all those things, but it also leaves room in our shelter for those who are needing our help the most.
What's the current population at the shelter?
We had 356 dogs and cats in our care as of Monday morning. So
I know you're quite often you're full. I mean, how does that relate numbers-wise?
It's very full, very full. So we're very limited on the space of animals that we can take in. So
I know one of the ways to help with space is trying to reduce the number of accidental litters. That's important. Talk to us about the spay and neuter clinics and how often those occur.
Yeah, so we do spay neuter clinics 3 times a week, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Fridays, right? Yeah. So we do them 3 days a week. You go online to joplinhumane.org to schedule your appointment. There is a deposit depending on if you have a cat or a dog. Dog deposits are $60, cat deposits are $45, but that goes directly towards your balance of the procedure. And it's quick, it's easy, you pick them up the same day, and you have a pet that's going to live a happy, longer life. So,
and does spaying and neutering make a difference to the animal's longevity?
Yes. So by spaying and neutering, you reduce risk of certain cancers in these pets, and There's another disease that female dogs get called pyometra, and it's basically an infection of the uterus. So by having that surgery, it's going to prevent that dog or cat from getting that disease, which is often fatal.
Yeah. How many veterinarians work at the shelter, and how important is that medical care, Chloe?
We have two that work at the shelter on and off. They switch days, and their care is life-saving for all of our shelter pets. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't be able to do everything that we do every day, not only for public animals, but for our own shelter pets as well.
Yeah. How important is that extra medical care? I mean, and do you have veterinarians also and others who help to donate time as well for their care?
It's mainly just the two vets that we have, Dr. Barber and Dr. Short, and they are absolutely amazing. They're there 5 days a week, like she said, for not just public animals, but the shelter animals as well. And they've been able to perform some amazing life-saving procedures on pets that have come into the shelter, and just really guaranteed that that animal is going to be able to have a long, successful life.
You do sometimes get animals that are not doing well when you receive them, is that right?
Yeah, we get animals all the time that are in some pretty bad shape. I mean, we've had dogs come in that are extremely emaciated, so very, very skinny. We've had them come in hit by cars and had to have legs amputated. And just without these vets, we wouldn't be able to do that. So it's amazing to have their support and the support of the community, because they jump in and help with funding so we can get these procedures done.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's, you know, a happy ending for all.
Sounds great. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will learn all about the ways you can help out at the Humane Society as a volunteer, including Playing for Life, a program we learned about firsthand during a shelter visit. Here's more. Jolene DeCoster takes dogs from the cages inside the Joplin Humane Society to the outdoors. It's a short walk to deliver the dogs to what could be deemed a pet playgroup called Playing for Life.
It is a good thing. They work better when they go back to the kennels. They're more relaxed.
The dogs look forward to it.
They know. They're ready to come out and play with their friends.
Faith and Jolene are volunteer workers who set the dogs loose into the pens where Thomas J., the Humane Society's animal behavior manager, assesses their personalities.
It's just making sure that these animals are mentally and behaviorally healthy before they go out into a loving forever home, and even assessing the animals to find out what that loving home is.
He does that through the national organization called Playing for Life, where he manages a large group of dogs, allowing them to engage in natural behaviors.
Because just walking on a leash with you or I, they're not able to engage in those social behaviors. They are social creatures. They are pack animals. They want to socialize with other dogs. So that is a great opportunity for them to get out some of that stress.
Volunteers do the legwork of bringing dogs to and from the pens, but love every minute of it.
I just love being able to help the dogs. I like to be outside. I love to walk, and the dogs need me. They need us as volunteers.
I do it because I love dogs and I hope to have a future here.
The time at play helps Thomas J. train or retrain them, if necessary, to behave in their forever homes.
Because like I said, being pack animals, if they do have some kind of social issue, it pops up pretty quickly out there, and we are able to kind of address it as it comes to light.
Another way dogs learn to socialize is by spending time in foster homes. Stacy Curtis is bringing back Shallow after 3 weeks in her home.
He came into the Humane Society as an owner surrender. He's very scared. It took me around 2 weeks before he would ever even look at me. He stayed under my kitchen table hiding constantly. Now he'll come out in the house and he'll eat and stuff.
The Humane Society is regularly at capacity, so it helps when people like Stacy open their homes to help nurture dogs.
They're always overcrowded, and whenever we foster, it helps give space for other animals that are in need that they need space for. They can take in more animals when people foster.
But Stacy and other volunteers say they benefit too.
Oh, it's lovely. I love it. You get to care for the animals that need it the most. Like Shallow, he is the most loving dog, and like he needs it.
I think being around the dogs that have even been through so much or so little, just not wanted, can help with your mental health and theirs. And you get the exercise that you want with it.
It just is good for your heart.
Welcome Welcome back to Newsmakers. You just saw a couple ways you can help the Humane Society. We're going to learn more about the ways to volunteer from Thomas J., Behavior Manager, and returning again is Chloe Hensley, Volunteer Manager. Thanks for joining us, Thomas.
Thanks for having me.
So we saw you discuss playing for life in our video. The volunteers are really dog movers, but people can volunteer to walk animals separately, correct? Tell us about those opportunities.
Well, yeah, of course, Dogs Playing for Life, which is a national program that gets these dogs out into a play yard together and engaging in these natural pack behaviors with each other. But we also want these dogs to be generalized with people. So, of course, there are plenty of opportunities for people to come out, walk dogs. Maybe they want to get a puppy into a room. Maybe they want to go in and socialize with cats. We still need that. That is still vital for these animals to be happy and healthy, to go out into a loving forever home. So yes, there are plenty of ways you can come out and help. There is something for anybody, no matter what your energy level or your skill level is. We will provide you with training and get you in touch with the resources you need to make the best of your time with us.
Yeah. Chloe, who's a good candidate to be a volunteer for walking animals? And, is it somebody who wants to adopt, or can it be somebody who can't because, say, maybe they live in an apartment?
We get people from all walks of life. So whether you live in an apartment that doesn't allow pets or you are looking for your 17th pet in your lifetime, it really doesn't matter. We accept everybody.
So fostering animals is another way to help the shelter. Tell us, as a volunteer, we saw, a woman, how does fostering program make a big difference in getting animals adopted? And do some end up keeping those that they foster, or is it typically temporary? Because I know fostering can be a temporary thing.
Well, it can be a temporary thing, and that really helps us out because it's getting those animals out of that stressful, busy environment into a quiet home where they can decompress, and we can also see how they behave outside of that shelter environment. Because when you come in and you look at a dog or a cat in that shelter, they are shut down. They are displaying a representative of themselves that may not be indicative of how the animal is outside of that facility. So it's a great chance for us to get that snapshot of them out there in the public. But like I said, it also helps us because it manages the population within the shelter. It makes the numbers more manageable so that we can provide expert care to the animals that we have there at the facility. All right, and it is also a more healthy environment for those animals to be out in a home because they're not being constantly exposed to everything that's coming into the shelter. So it really helps us, decompress, get a picture of them, keeps them healthy until they are ready to go out into a forever home.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we have foster fails. We have people that decide they want to hang on to their pet. We love that. That is great. And we're also pushing our foster to adopt program. So that is usually 72 hours. It's enough time for you to get to know the animal, for them to get to know your living situation, your home, meet everybody there at the house. And give you a little bit extra time to decide if you want to make that commitment. Now, a lot of the times they do. They do end up coming in and adopting that animal. So that is something we're really trying to push rather than you take this animal, you adopt it, and then decide once you get home that this is not a good fit for you.
Get to know them first.
Yes.
So what is, Chloe, what's the process of becoming an animal foster parent, so to speak? Are there any kind of requirements? What do you have to do?
Come in, fill out the application, and speak with one of the foster coordinators. It's really pretty easy.
Do you have to have any referrals or recommendations to say you'd be a good foster parent?
We hope that you would have a vet reference on file, but otherwise, we don't ask your friends or neighbors.
Yeah. So why, you mentioned a lot of the socialization. Are there any other reasons why an animal would do well having a short time in a home? I mean, could they have come from a bad home? Do we see if they can learn new things?
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, we want to get a picture of them outside of that shelter environment because when they come into the shelter, they are shut down. This is a completely alien environment. They've never experienced anything like this before. So naturally, they're going to be scared, they're going to be reserved, and you're really not going to see that animal's personality until they get out of that environment.
Yeah. How many animals can someone foster? Can it be more than one at a time, or is it recommended that we do like one animal at a time?
Well, if it's puppies, we usually recommend at least two, so that they have somebody that they can play with and socialize and develop those natural social behaviors. Now, if you want to take one big dog, that's fine. I wouldn't recommend taking a lot of big dogs just because that is a lot. You know, it takes an entire staff to care for those animals at the shelter. So maybe loading up with big dogs isn't the right thing. But yeah, if you want to take an entire litter of puppies, we will let you.
Well, Chloe, let's talk about some of the other volunteer opportunities. Are feeding animals, other care like bathing, are those things that volunteers do?
Yeah, absolutely. We always need people to come in and bathe the dogs, groom the cats. They could always use a good brushing, and they normally really appreciate that social interaction as well, maybe even more than the dogs do. But along with that, there's dog walking, and we always need help with our spay-neuter clinic. So like Tiana said earlier, we meet Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for checkout. So you help check out the animals between 3 and 5, and that's really good for anybody. And then we always have off-site events that we're taking pets to. We have events that we don't take pets to. So there really is something for everybody throughout the shelter.
So, because you advertise on your website, you need people for the front desk. So that's kind of a check-in. Are there any skills required, or is it somebody who, you don't have to be somebody good with pets, you can just do the paperwork?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So talk about the help needed at events in the community. Is it taking the dogs, or is it traveling there just to be sort of a representative of the Humane Society?
Both. So there's always a need for passing out flyers about upcoming events and stuff like that. We always need volunteers to help run our booth or table, having those materials on that as well. And then we need people to take dogs to and from the events too. So
Yeah. So what do you have to have a certain size car? What would be helpful for folks to know?
having your own vehicle is helpful. Maybe not a 2-seater, probably not a motorcycle, but anything that you could fit a dog into should be good.
But you guys have also some vans and things like that that you kind of use to transport the animals. So is there an age requirement for being a volunteer? And I know you also have one that involves kids. So let's talk about how kids can help volunteer at the Humane Society.
So kids can help through our Shelter Pals program. It's ages 6 through 15, and it's probably one of our most popular programs. So kids will come after school, or during the summer, it's after 5 p.m. The second Monday of every month, and they come for a couple hours and they read to the pets, get some snacks, and just really show the dogs and cats that it's okay to be around kids and approach the front of the kennel, which is what helps them get adopted.
So does Shelter Pals, do you think, also help them to socialize by being around children? And I mean, because children can be, some dogs are not always as kid-friendly as others. Is that
Exactly, yes, that is true. You know, every dog is an individual. They all have their own unique behavioral needs. So yes, it does help them get generalized, especially with the kids. Everybody has kids. You know, there are kids out there, and at some point in this animal's life, it will encounter a kid. So having that socialization with the children is really great. You know, I have seen that the dogs seem to enjoy it. So it is not just the socialization, it's actually a form of enrichment. It's something that they don't normally experience in their day. So just having a little bit of deviation from the routine is really great for these animals.
Is this a one-on-one thing where the kids read to the dogs, or is it a group setting? How does it work?
It's kind of a mix of both. So they go back into the animal areas as a group, but they sit individually in front of kennels to read to whatever dog or cat they would like to read to that time.
And obviously this might have some benefits for the kids because they're getting to read, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, they are developing those reading skills. They are developing confidence in having this audience here that they can read to. So it really is a win-win situation for everybody involved.
And the animals aren't really judgmental.
They are not.
Kind of a good audience.
Yes.
You know, at least if they are judgmental, I don't hear about it. So,
So then do the students ever get a chance to then also, I mean, they're outside the kennels, do they get to get one-on-one where they get to pet animals? Is that possibly an opportunity as well?
They can go into the rooms in the cat area and love on the cats in there. Ordinarily, we don't do that with the big dogs. Sometimes we'll get a puppy into a room at the end of the reading session, though, and they'll get to play with the puppy.
Awesome. You're also an outlet for those who might be required to do community service. So how can that benefit both the shelter and an individual?
So through community service, it's really quite easy for anyone to come in. We don't have a maximum amount of people, so I think that that's beneficial for a lot of people who do decide to volunteer or do community service at the shelter. But it helps us with general cleaning, organizing, sorting food for the food pantry, and just other random tasks throughout the shelter that we're needing help with that day.
How
So it's
vital are
beneficial.
volunteers? I mean, on a given day, how many volunteers are helping out at the Humane Society?
That really depends on the day. Yeah, if it's a weekend, then maybe we can get up to 20 volunteers.
Wow.
If it's a weekday, we'll have 5-ish volunteers coming in, normally for spay neuter checkout, and then a couple to walk dogs or something like that.
Pretty important, though.
Yeah.
If you had to pay that kind of staff, it would be really hard
Yeah.
for budgeting. So how can someone sign up or volunteer? What do? Do they have to come in? Can you do it online?
Yep, it's really easy. You just go to www.joplinhumane.org/volunteer and you fill out the application right online.
All right. Well, thank you, Chloe Hensley. Thank you, Thomas J. We're going to take another little break. And if you don't have time to volunteer, don't worry. When we come back, we can learn how you can support the Humane Society at community events and other ways. Welcome back to Newsmakers. It costs approximately $4,200 a day to operate the Joplin Humane Society shelter. Donations can help defray costs. We're back in conversation with Tiana Fisher and Chloe Hensley from the Humane Society. Thanks for being back here again.
Thank you.
Tell us about some of the routine supplies that are used regularly that it would help if they were donated.
We go through a lot of bleach.
Really?
Yes, we use a lot of bleach, a lot of cleaning supplies, towels, sheets, pillowcases, cat food, dog food, puppy and kitten formulas. We use a lot of those. So,
My
yeah.
mother-in-law used to donate newspapers. Are those still in need?
Very much so. Anything you might use at your house for your pets, we can use. So, like I said earlier, we have over 300 animals in the shelter. It's a lot of food. So, food is the big one. Canned stuff, crunchy stuff. We are not picky. We will use it all. So,
I noticed you even had some blankets and some of this also. Then do you need laundry products in order to keep all those things clean?
yes, laundry detergent, we use the liquid kind. That's what works best in our equipment. So, yeah, laundry detergent, back to the bleach. We use bleach to keep everything clean so we can keep animals healthy. So, yeah, just anything you use in your home, we can use.
It helps you to not have to purchase that.
Yes.
So it defrays costs.
Toilet paper and paper towels, also a great thing to donate. We love that.
Okay.
The squishy kind.
Yeah. Well, you have some upcoming events to share that can be a time to donate, whether supplies or much needed monies. Tell us about, first off, the Tiny Tigers Cat Lounge. It's kind of an event coming
Oh
up.
my
It's at the
gosh.
mall.
Yes, yes. So it's July 11th.
Yep.
Yeah, it opens July 11th at the mall. We're back kind of by where the kid area is with that bouncy, I don't know. It's back by the kid area. There's a shoe store, but there will be kittens galore. We'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 4 weeks in a row. It's $5. You come in for 30 minutes and just have ultimate kitty playtime, and I think it's the best thing ever.
Does it help you actually then end up adopting animals?
Yeah.
When kids get a chance to experience it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. How can you go and play with all these little tiny kittens and not want to take one home?
There you go. So you have another event called Showing the Love Motorcycle Ride. What is that all about?
So Showing the Love is a red, white, and blue poker chip run. It's a lot of fun. You can bring your bikes, bring your carts. I was told a cart's a car. I'm still learning, but yeah.
Okay.
So anything you want, you can participate. There's a buy-in. You go to these different stops and you draw poker chips. And then once you get to the end of the ride, we get together as a group. We draw out chips to evaluate or to establish the point value for each color. And then at the end of the day, somebody wins a pretty cool prize. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to see the motorcycles out there and hear them all fire up. And there's some really amazing sponsors that we get to go to. stop and have lunch. It's so much fun, and 100% of the proceeds go back to taking care of the animals at the shelter. Building up to that, we actually have an absolutely gorgeous Harley Davidson that is being raffled off.
Wow.
Yeah. Tickets are $100. You can get those at Cycle Connection. They're on North Main Street. And once again, proceeds benefit homeless pets, and you have the chance to win a really nice bike. So.
And then how does someone register for the poker run?
Registration will open up soon. So as soon as we get that open, it'll be online or in person. You can even register the day of the event.
Oh.
So yeah, just watch our Facebook page. There's an event on there already. So just click that you're interested or that you're going. So that way, as that information comes out, you'll be notified.
Perfect. All right, so the big event for you guys is your annual Fur Ball, a big fundraiser. Do you already have a date and a theme? Let's talk about that.
It is Leashes and Lassos.
Leashes and lassos.
Leashes and lassos, all
So,
right.
and it is on Saturday, October 4th at Downstream Casino. And tickets for that will be available very soon. But right now we are looking for event sponsors and people to donate to our silent auction and our live auction. So if you have something like, big and cool that you wanted to donate to help raise money for the pets, or even something little and cute, we'll take it all.
So somebody who hasn't been to Fur Ball yet, what exactly happens? You have an auction. What else happens in that evening? It's a dinner, I guess? And
It's a plated dinner. Oh, nope, we've done buffet the last couple of years. So we have a buffet that has been absolutely delicious. And there is a cocktail hour, so everybody kind of enjoys mingling. We've had everything from an after party with a dance. One year we had after party casino games and things like that. But now that we're at an actual casino doing it, we do a dance. We've been having
sounds fun.
Oh my gosh, it's been so much fun. And last year we even played, the DJ got everybody playing games and interacting, and a lot of great memories were made. A lot of money was raised, and so that's the important part.
Well, we have one more. You have a Halloween event. Pets can be scared during Halloween, but and trick-or-treating, but you have your own little festive event called Howl and Scream. What happens there?
So Howl and Scream is my favorite event of the year because Halloween is my favorite holiday. But basically it's just a free for the community event, and it's just raising awareness about the shelter pets. So normally we have adoption specials, but we also have local businesses that come and they hand out candy and they promote their business at the same time. And then costume contests and drawings and giveaways and trophies and just all of that fun stuff.
And all this can be found on your website.
For
all
sure.
this information. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing the many opportunities to help at the Humane Society. We appreciate you guys.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
And that wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. Even if you can't have an animal in your home, you can feel the love they share by volunteering at the Humane Society. Thanks to our guests, and thank you for watching Newsmakers. I'm Lisa Alligas. Good night.